Hey there, fish keepers. Dean here. Figured I'd do a summer update on the fish room before there's some fairly major changes to it here over the next couple of months. I'll just kind of do a little bit of an overview here because I haven't done a video for quite a while, so you may have forgot what the fish room looks like, but it's going to change a bit. I've got some new tanks that I'm going to be replacing some of my older tanks with, and we'll get to that. But I'll start off with my newest babies here. Usually in the summertime I try not to raise fry, but sometimes you don't get to choose when fish breed. And these are my little Epistogramma panduro. They're probably like about 3 months old now. Started off with lots, but I had a male in there with 3 females, and they bred, and I left them in there for a while, and some of them got eaten. So they're doing really good. It looks like I've got some males and females there. They're just starting to color up a little bit. Then we've got the Celestial Pearl Danio continuous breeding setup here. It's still going, but I don't feed it any live foods in the summer, so I'm not raising a ton of babies. Like I said, I generally try not to raise fry over the summer, but it seems like every year something breeds that I wasn't expecting, and I end up having to feed brine shrimp and getting my brother-in-law to take care of the tanks and feed babies over the summer, which is okay because then I have fish for the fish club auctions in the fall. There's another tank of CPTs that I'm growing out. That was I moved some CPDs from a tank, and apparently there's a pile of eggs in there, so I got one pretty good sized batch in there. These guys are maybe about 3 months old or so, but they're doing really well. And this tank is kind of neat. That's giant hairgrass in there. It has a pretty strong light, so it actually grows fairly low to the ground, but I got to get some fertilization in there. The ones that I originally put in there, you can see, are dying off in the back. The strong light, they need more nutrients to grow, but where they've been spreading, they have grown forward in the tank and have really carpeted it. So need to add a little bit of fertilizer there, but it's not really set up as a showy tank, or it wasn't set up as a showy tank. It just kind of turned out a little bit showy. It was more so intended just to raise those Celestial Pearl Danios. This is my oldest continuous setup. It is still going strong here. You can see this Epistogramma panduro female on the right here was one of the non-breeding females, and she got beat up pretty good. That was when I had to make sure that I moved everybody out of the tank. The female who had fry then really took to beating this one up here, and looks like she damaged one of her eyes, but otherwise it's okay. I thought they would have enough hiding spaces in there to stay away from the female brooding her fry, but no dice, and this guy took some eye damage because of that. But this tank is doing well. Still have my little rosy loaches in here. There's some chili rasboras and some ruby tetras. You can see one of the males coming forward there, the ruby tetras. They're pretty little guys. I like them. Not the best substrate to show them off in this tank. Like that one male there looks great, but a lot of the females don't look very good. They look way better with a darker substrate. But that tank is, it's been set up since 1998. It's solid. And then this tank here is what I keep my goldfish in the winter. And it was supposed to hold some Kalitawa fry, but I put in some, when they were teeny tiny fry, I put in some baby panda cories that I found in one of the filters, And they actually ate the Kalitawa fry. It was really weird. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, why is there less fry here? And then I was like, maybe, maybe they're hiding. And the next day they were all almost gone. There's literally one left. But right now I've got some Chronichthys baileyii in here. So I just put a few fry in here to grow over the summer. It was supposed to be full of Kalitawas, but we had some Chronichthys baileyii breed in one of the tanks, and I pulled some of their fry out of here. I also put a bunch of blue Neocaridina shrimp in here, and they're reproducing like crazy, and I will take them out of there in the fall before I put the goldfish back in this tank. But it's looking pretty good right now. It takes about 2 months for the algae to die back in it that is created by the goldfish being in there. I've got a little bit of Java moss here that's carpeted on the bottom that I grow immersed, and it was dying back in its container, so I threw it in here, and it's growing pretty good. I've got to set it up in a more permanent setup because the goldfish will make short work of that. Not so much that they'll eat it, but they'll just pick away at it and pull it off of its little racks. Right here I've got my Apistogramma pendero male. There's the male, and another female that's in here that wasn't one of the breeders. She never got beat up though. And I've got my Tigerlimia, and they used to hide all the time, like just you'd never see them, but since I put the Apistogrammas in here, they've been out all the time because the Apistogrammas take the prime hiding spots. You can see the female there. That's my big female. She's not the one that they had fry with. These two have bred in here since I moved them in here, but I never lowered the conductivity on the water, so none of the eggs are fry hatched. But this tank is looking pretty good, and it's way better now that those Apistos are in there and all the Tigerlimia are out. They used to hide all the time, but now that they can't hide, they're out, and they seem to be pretty comfortable. Then we've got a bit of a grow out tank here. It's got my Rhiza Serotai in here. They're big now. They're basically adults, and some of them are going to be going to Ontario, and they're not really, the males aren't really showing their black colors. So I guess one back there is pretty black, and he's going to hide on me now. But I've also got my yellow Neocaridina shrimp in here. Oh, there's one that's black too. You can see in the middle of the screen there. Went into a dark spot. Now he looks black. But yeah, these guys are fully mature now. I've seen eggs on the female. They would be about 10 months old, so they've been mature for quite a while. The yellow neos are doing good in this tank again. They started to reproduce pretty good, but it's getting fed pretty heavily. You'll also see a few red neon rainbow fish in there, or blue eyes, I should say. And then we've got the adult group of Rhiza Serotoi. You can see one of the males there is a little colored up. Most of the time, the males are jet. Oh, you can see one here. He's pretty jet black, that guy. And they display a lot. They're really cool fish. I really like them. And the females are popping eggs off all the time in this tank, so it's I can have lots of those at any time if I want, but try not to do that over the summer so I'm not getting too burnt out with going hiking and fishing and things like that, and just don't have as much time for the tanks. Always have time for water changes, but you don't want to overcommit yourself too much. But you can see that Rhiza Serotoi male there, just jet black, beautiful fish. Really like them. It's nice that he came to the front. All right, and then I've got another one of my latest projects. These guys grow insanely fast. This is Fundulopanchax gardneri, steel blue killifish. It's I got the fish at auction, the parents, in June, and I put them into a small tank, put in some about 50/50 RO water, threw an Indian almond leaf in there, and I seen that they were breeding away, so then I moved them. I seen a fry. It's really thickly planted. I seen a fry, I moved them, and ended up with 17 fry in there. And these guys are literally only 2 months old. Like, they grow that fast. Fed them up on a lot of live foods, but these guys are taking flakes now. They're really quite a hardy fish. I've been really impressed with how easy that killifish is to breed, and with how quick their fry grow. Insane growth rates. But you can see that male's already showing pretty good. And he's only a couple of months old, so they're doing really well. And this tank down here, this is my quarantine tank. I got some new fish in, I think it was April, and there's one tetra in here, and I think 8 licorice gourami, and they're really shy. I'm gonna set them up in a different tank, which is the change to the fish room, but I don't know if we can even see these guys in here. I doubt it. I think that's maybe a fish in the back there, but they come out every once in a while. But they're a pretty shy fish. They're going to be set up in a tank where it's going to be set up as a blackwater tank and with a stick pile in the middle. I was at Ryan's place, who runs the Instagram Swamp Drab, and he has lots of tanks that are blackwater, and he sets them up with a stick pile in the middle, which is really cool. It's like having plants in the middle. It makes like an islandscape, and I want to set up a tank like that for these licorice gourami and hopefully breed them too. But there's a bunch in there. They're just really impossible to see. And in this tank here was another Fish Club buy. Got some glow light Danios from Fred Guy. He bred them in the club there, and they were just too nice to pass up. So I'm going to move these guys into a different tank and probably breed them. And then this tank here, I think I'm going to put the Chronichthys baleii in. There's lots of hiding places in there. They're fairly aggro with each other, and I think this tank will be good for them to duke it out and reproduce. I've got a fair number of them. I think I ended up with 6 fry, and I started out with 4. So I've still got those guys in the other tank. This tank here, I've got my baby Cordoris garrii in here. Got my blue dream shrimp, lots of CPDs that are impossible to catch, some red neon blue eyes that are impossible to catch, CW111s, or the Vulcan Cory. I don't know if we'll be able to see those. Might be able to see the garrii though. I kind of changed the layout of this tank so that you can see back in here better. I don't know if the camera will focus on it. There's one of the baby garrii there. I can see his face, but the camera doesn't want to look into that spot. Yeah, I can see them there, but it does not want to focus on that. Oh, there we go. So those guys are doing good. The males are starting to color up. I think it just, they're like 2 years old, and I think it just takes them that long to color up. But they're kind of shy. They just need to go into a different tank, and they'll do better. There's just too good of hiding spots in this one. There's the CW111s kind of hang out over here. They come out when the food is out, but no food out right now, so those guys are going to be hard to see too. But they're in there somewhere. They're doing good. I only have 4 left. They just got them from Hans Evers out of Germany there, and when you travel overseas, they came in with a little bit of ammonia burn, so lost a few, but just happy to have them. And then this is going to be the change to the fish room here. These 4 5-gallon tanks are going to go, and I've got 3 of the 12-gallon aquariums like I have over there to replace them. So going to go from 20 gallons of water to 36 gallons. So get a pretty decent increase in water volume, and the tank size is better. These ones are a lot of maintenance too. The smaller the tank, the more maintenance there are. This one, little speck that's set up, it's overgrown, but it still looks pretty good. It's nice having the Ludwigi in there that's so red. This is the Chrynicthes Bailey that I pulled the fry from the tank. I just find them, 1 or 2 at a time on the top here, yank them out of there, put them into another tank to grow out. And then this is my original pair of the Fundulopanchax gardneri. Just a super gorgeous fish. I lowered the conductivity on this tank tube, put about 50% RO again in here. Lots of limnophilia in here, so I'm sure that when I move these guys out, there's going to be all kinds of fry that are kicking around in here. And then we'll get another batch of those guys. But I got about 17 fry out of the first one, which is pretty good. And then there is my black bar Endler colony. They're breeding like crazy as per usual. Lots of reflection on that tank. Oof. And then down here we got my Kalitawa. Last night I fed him some white worms, and man, the female Kalitawa were looking gorgeous. They were like, usually you just look at the males on the species, and you kind of ignore the females. But boy, after I gave him the white worms there, those females just colored right up. They were like super orange. I just moved the light closer to the front here, but you can see they're pretty orange as it is. I've had these guys for 3 years or so, and they're looking pretty good. The females are really colored up yesterday. It's like they were glowing orange. But Kalitawa are doing awesome. I'm gonna have to get some eggs from them again. Just a matter of collecting them. I've got some panda cories in there with them, so I got to yank the eggs out quick, because boy, you throw a spawning mop in with panda cories kicking around, and they will pound the eggs that are in the spawning mop. So we'll have to do that fairly soon, but it's coming up to winter, so there'll be lots of time to raise them. And then we've got my 75-gallon aquarium. This one is where I house my Brocus garryi now, no longer Corridorus garryi. And I've got my red neon blue eyes growing out in here. I don't have very many females of the red neon blue eyes, so I've got to breed those guys again too, but we'll do that this fall. And you can see the single Kalitawa baby there. All his buddies got eaten by panda cories. So there's the one Kalitawa in there. And tons of red neocaridinea shrimp. Holy man, there is so many of them in here. I've been spreading them to other tanks, giving them away. It's been pretty crazy. But we'll see if we can get a little bit of video of this Brocus garryi here. Hopefully they don't get spooked. My brother-in-law always likes to put his water bottle by the tank. I always forget about it because I would never do that. But you can see here they're looking pretty good. They laid eggs last week. I missed it. They got eaten. I actually got one egg. I think it was one of the smaller females because there wasn't a ton of eggs. Like the big female that's in there, she had 900 eggs previously, but we've had all kinds of low pressure systems coming through. So they've been just fired right up, and you can see the males are really shining bright right now. So hopefully, I've been trying not to feed this tank very much because I want to get back. We're going on holidays here, so I want to, get back and then try and breed these guys. But low pressure system seems to really be a key for these guys, and they've been fired up. The males have been hovering over the tank, and they did lay eggs. I missed it, but I did get one, so there's hope that I have one Garryi fry that I'm growing up in a little tank with some Fundulopanchax gardneri. And the other thing that's doing really good in this tank is you can see that rose maiden crypt there it's going everywhere. It takes a long time to establish, but once it gets going, it does pretty good. You can see there, I like to lay down beside this tank and just watch it at night. It's pretty awesome. And then over here, we've got my 5-gallon. I raised my Asian rummy noses in this tank, and it's feeding it pretty heavy, and those fry grew up, and I thought I was going to lose my orange shrimp colony, but they started reproducing again. So if you look really close, you can see there's a bunch of babies kicking around in there. So this is like Anubias in the center, and then surrounded by Schismata glottis pretoi, which is an awesome plant. I really like it. But this little 5-gallon marina has been good. It's got not the best lighting on it, but it's great for not creating algae, and is awesome for low light plants. Then over here we've got some Crocodon, formerly Audax, but it's Lateralis now, Altabaso. And this is, I got, when I had these sent up from the US, or Marcus Nichols had them sent up from the US, I got two males and a female, and one of the males was this kind of bent up guy here, so I didn't breed him at first, but the other male bred and there was tons of fry, and then I was like, I don't know, is that genetic or did he just get beat up at some point? Because he was almost dead when I got him, because the other two that were in the container with him had just shredded him, and I kind of nursed him back to health, and he's bred with females, or with some of the daughters of the other males, and now there's a bunch of fry in here, so I've got a tiny bit of genetic diversity in my Crocodon Lateralis altabasos, so you can see some fry in there. So all the fish that are in here would be daughters and sons of this guy here, and I've spread those around a little bit too. The Ludwigia Atlantis is looking good up there too. And then in here, you won't see any fish because these are my female Asian rummy noses, and they like to hide in the cave in the middle there. But they're really egged up. I should get some fry out of those guys again. And then over here are the males. They're probably, you can just barely see them there. And they jetted back into the giant hairgrass. So this is what giant hairgrass looks like when you have it under low light. I think it grows a lot nicer under low light. It's cool to have the carpet, but I like this look better. It gives the aquarium full coverage. I like that, and lots of hiding places. These guys are kind of shy. They like, I can sit here and watch them, but they, as soon as you move towards the front of the tank, they split, because there's lots of places to hide. If I threw brine shrimp out there, they'd all be out there. But I'm gonna move them. I'm gonna breed them one more time and then move them into my 37 gallon, which is over here. And we got the pea puffers. They're doing good. They want to be fed. It's morning time. They're ready for their morning meal of brine shrimp. Lots of hair algae in this tank because it is tough to keep any kind of a snail or any other creature alive in with the pea puffers. The pea puffers destroy any other life forms that are with them. They did have shrimp with them for a while, but when we went on our holidays earlier this year, I just told my brother-in-law, don't feed these guys. It's always easier if it's just a few days to not feed them. And apparently these guys took to eating the shrimp that were happily living with them. So no more shrimp left in here, and definitely no snails. So then we got this tank here, the Pseudomygale gertrudii, or spotted blue eyes. And they're doing pretty good. I should try and get some eggs out of these guys here. And the female Episto that had the babies is in here, as well as some panda cories and or Hoplosoma panda. And they're doing pretty good. I've got a nice Barclaya longfolia red in here. Hopefully I'll do a video here fairly shortly on reproducing Barclaya longfolia red from seed, to get your master breeders award with the aquarium clubs. I wouldn't call it easy to do. It's easy to get the seeds, it's easy to get your points, but getting the plantlets up to full size is a little bit more challenging. It just takes time, and they don't like to be buried in the soil. They like to just kind of hang out and find their own spot. You can see in this tank, there's one of the seeds has found his own spot in the middle of this tank here amongst the hair algae, and he's growing pretty good. I've got a few that are doing pretty good, but kill lots of those little guys too. And then this tank here, earlier in the year I had a heater failure. I used to have bleeding heart tetras in here, and some green neons autos, and they all got turfed. But these are my Savoie resplendens fry. I ended up raising 6 of them with my first attempt, but these guys are not shy at all. So I'm hoping when I put the parents in with them, that they'll all not be shy together. And I might put those Oryzis serotoi in here, or maybe the Glowlight Danios in here with them. I've also got a bunch of panda fry in here. What's weird is pandas are not shy in any of my other tanks, but in this tank they're kind of shy. But the Asian rummy noses that are shy in all the other tanks are not shy. But the cories are shy. It's really weird. But this tank has been doing good. But heater failure, lost most of the fish that were in there. There's also CW155s in here, and they seem to be fine. But this tank got up to 96 Fahrenheit. I put my hand in there and I was like, oh my god. And then I started finding dead fish, and not good. So this one no longer has a heater, which is perfect for Asian rummy noses. Going to move most of my tanks over to going with, or I already have moved them over to going without a heater. Then in here you can see my Aquatop tanks that are going to be put out there. Sometime in the fall I'll set those guys up when I have some time. And growing Daphnia, white worms in the buckets there. Got my plants going in those containers, growing immersed. And then I've got my main colony of Cracodon lateralis now, El Tabasso. It's going to be hard for me to not call them Cracodon audax, but they're doing pretty good. I gave some females from this tank and males from the other tank to Sabrina, one of my neighbors there. Hopefully she can keep them going, but I've got a couple of young males that are really black in this group here, so I'm hoping to get those guys to reproduce too. And then this is the original two that I've got, and there's a whole bunch of babies up in here. We can see them, maybe not, but oh yeah, you can see one there. Cool. Came out just in time. He's cooperative, and he's doing, there's, I don't know, probably like 15 or 20 up in there. So these guys are, and there's some that are kind of medium-sized, bigger. So these guys are basically colony breeding now. So this is a 29-gallon, pretty heavily planted. They eat some of the fry, but they seem to be able to maintain a colony. And then in these tanks right now, I've got Fundulopanchax gardneri, and there's my brine shrimp going. So I've got some tiny fry in this tank, and this is where that Broca's garryi egg went into, with newly hatched Fundulopanchax gardneri fry. I got a spawning mop here a couple of weeks ago and hatched them out in one of my little breeding containers, and just transferred the fry into this one. So that garryi should be, he's probably born bigger than the little gardneri fry. But we'll head upstairs and check out the big tank and the upstairs tank, the red neon blue eye breeding tank, and check out the pond and the deck pond. So this is the red neon blue eye breeding tank. They're mostly hidden in here because I put a new young female in this tank, and I think they're chasing around everywhere. So soon I'll have to be starting to get eggs from this tank, and we'll just check out the ponds quick. There's my cat. This is Bean. She got a mustache. She really likes chicken. There's my deck pond. It is looking great on the right hand side, but the left hand side, it's been raining and cold here so much. I think that the little plant that was my wife put out there on the left, it just got waterlogged and died. It's been cold, raining. I've got Medaka and Cracodon lateralis in here. Not very many Medaka, but you can see there's a couple there. But what I do have is there's just, I think, a ton of Medaka fry kicking around in here. Yeah, I can see one there, over top of that leaf in the middle. But there's a bunch kicking around in here. So it's been ultra cold this summer. Like, if you think of a Canadian summer, it's probably more like a Arctic Canada summer. It's been cold and raining all summer long, and I don't know when those fry were born, but they haven't grown a ton. They're just teeny tiny right now. I got the waterfall from Papa Soap for free. They'd seen my deck pond video before, so I set that up. Looks pretty good. Getting a fair bit of hair algae in there, but I've only maybe got a month more that I can keep this one out. And then we'll just look at my big pond quick here, and I've had to cut it all back away from the waterfall there and knock back a bunch of the reeds in the middle, and that was a a major operation. It was completely overgrown, but the pond is doing pretty good, but doesn't look the greatest because when you cut things back, they got to grow back in. I think I'm going to knock back the reeds a bit more. It looks kind of funny out in the middle there, the thick bunch. And then it's got to grow in a bit around the waterfall as well. But the pond's doing good. Goldfish are out there somewhere. I'm very confident they're right underneath the bridge, hiding out there. So I'm pretty sure even if I went down there, we wouldn't be able to see them. But I did get a lily from my buddy Darren, and it never flowered, but at least I've got a few lily pads out there. I never took it out of the pot because during the summer it just literally, it's been so cold that nothing's been doing much out here. I've never even really took any floating plants out. Like, it's maybe been getting up to 20 degrees Celsius out here. It's been really cold. So that's the pond. Whoa, hold the phone. I forgot my 90-gallon tank. Got too excited there. The light wasn't on in this one, so I walked right past it and went outside to the ponds. But this tank is mostly housing retirement type fish. There's some younger ones in here. I got like my backup colony of Kelly-tawas. I've got my remainder of fork-tail blue eyes. I got to get that colony going again there. I oversold and then lost my breeder males, which was rather unfortunate. But this tank has been doing great. The plants have started to look how I want them to look. The left-hand side there doesn't really look perfect, but eventually I'll get there. So this is the tank. Congos are looking great as well. And my colony of panicories is doing really well in here. There's the odd baby that shows up in this tank. But that's it for my fish room tour. Hope to see you at the Calgary Aquarium Society meeting in September. We're going to have Jake Thompson presenting on breeding a mano shrimp, which is quite an accomplishment. And then later in the month, we'll have Jeff Miyoki coming down to do an aquascaping presentation, and he'll be putting together an aquarium that'll be auctioned off later, or a couple of them. And we'll also be having our fall auction at the same time, so it should be a pretty awesome event. Hope to see you there. Happy fish keeping!